Macmillan Audio presents Can't I Go Instead? Written by Geum-Yi. Translated by An Sun-jae. Narrated by Michelle H. Lee. Part 1. Leave-taking. Chapter 1. Lady Kwok's labor pains began at dawn on April 29, 1920. Mr. Pak, the butler of the Gahwaedong mansion in Seoul, woke everyone in the main house by hanging oil lamps in the corners where the electric lights could not reach. As the main house grew brighter, the darkness surrounding the separate men's quarters and the annex beyond the fence grew deeper. A few days earlier, Mr. Pak's wife, who was in charge of the housekeeping, had offered freshly drawn well water not only to Grandma Samshin, the childbirth spirit, but also to the Songju spirit of the house, the kitchen spirit, the ground spirit, and the outhouse spirit. Then she soaked dry seaweed in water and carefully placed it on a shelf in the storeroom to keep it from breaking. The servants in the main house moved in practiced harmony. Only the cook was excluded from the tasks, as she was busy preparing breakfast for the family of the Gahwaedong mansion. Smoke from the chimney spread through the morning mist, and the smell of burning wood permeated the damp air. Viscount Yoon Hyung-man was asleep in the men's quarters, completely unaware that his wife's labor pains had begun. Not disturbing the master's early morning sleep was one of the rules of conduct that the 30 or so house servants lived by. If there were any newcomers, they learned that lesson before their first day was over. Every night, a ghost torments the new Viscount so that he can't fall asleep until after the first cock crows. If you disturb his early morning sleep, you'll be in trouble.
A ghost? What kind of ghost is it?
It's the ghost of the old Viscount, who died last year.
Why does the father trouble his son?
Why? He must be resentful because he died at such an early age, leaving all his wealth, official positions, and pretty concubines behind.
It's not like that.
It's because he's upset with his son. After he inherited the family fortune, how could he stop observing formal mourning after just 100 days?
It's the Japanese who wouldn't let him go on any longer. Even the King of Korea was not allowed the traditional 3-year period.
That's just an excuse. But so what? It was an embarrassment, the way the old man died. The honorable deceased Viscount had been demoted to old man.
How did he die?
Rumor is he died in bed with one of his women while they were, well, you understand. At this point, the eldest of the group would step forward and put an end to the discussion.
How you all keep blathering. Aren't the best masters those who keep us from going hungry? And no matter what anyone says, this place is more comfortable than anywhere else you might live, so we should wish this family well. Anyway, remember that nobody may so much as fart until you hear the master cough. A lot of people have been kicked out for less.
But this was an extraordinary circumstance, and as the day dawned and the master's wife's pains began, the servants from the main house vigorously opened the lids of iron pots and threw buckets into the well. On the contrary, if someone acted slowly so as not to make a sound, they were scolded. Lady Kwok's close relatives, who usually came and went like shadows until Viscount Yoon opened his eyes, ordered the servants around with loud voices, reckoning that her first birth in 10 years was more important than his morning sleep. And today, of all days, the Viscount would be overjoyed when he woke and heard the news. The truth and lies of rumors were like bones and flesh. It was difficult to separate them cleanly. The Viscount Hyung-man did suffer from insomnia, not because of his father's ghost, but because of his fear of thieves and assassins in the night, and he didn't see much of a distinction between members of the anti-Japanese Righteous Volunteer Army and ordinary thieves, or ordinary thieves disguised as members of the Independence Army. To him, they were all people trying to rob him of his fortune. That morning, he eventually woke to the dazzling sunlight pouring in through the window. Soon after, the voice of Kapsu, the servant in charge of the men's quarters,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?